All right, what is up, everybody? What is up? How you guys doing? Type in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. Welcome. Please hit that thumbs up on your way in here. Share the stream. Let's try to get a bunch of people in here. Kind of screwed up our algorithm. So for those of you that might be new to this situation, so there was an incident that happened in Kenosha recently. A young woman was driving from another city here in Wisconsin, drove out to Kenosha to purchase a vehicle from a car dealership, and ended up having a very, very horrible experience. She ended up leaving her ID at the dealership, and she called back right away to get the ID back, and they claimed they did not have her ID. And very unfortunate. And then she was contacted by somebody that sent her a very disturbing video. We are going to play that video for you guys real quick so that you can see it. So for those of you that may be new to this, please hit that thumbs up, share the stream out, guys. You know, we kind of screwed up our algorithm today with some of the things that were happening in all the live streams we've done. So please share this out. So we're going to play the video here so you guys can see what happened. And then we have a very special guest tonight. So these are some pictures. So this is the gentleman from the NH Auto Sales dealership in Kenosha. These are some pictures of the text messages that were sent. We do have this video up on our YouTube channel, so you guys can watch the full video of this, kind of the explanation behind everything. But like I said, she was sent this very disturbing racist video, and we ended up getting a copy of it. And you're going to see what happened. Make sure you guys share this out. Please hit that thumbs up. Share it everywhere on Facebook for us. So again, these are a bunch of the text messages between like her and the owner when she's setting everything up. Here's the video.
This happens. Just trying to see what else is gonna happen. What happened? I think you want to say stupid shit to us. Right here on the bumper. On the bumper.
So as you can see in the video, very disturbing. They end up urinating, utter disrespect. And then at the end of it, there's a picture of them basically taking a picture of their feet at the Trump Tower. You can see the Trump Tower carpeting. And you know, while not every Trump supporter is racist, it's usually the indication that it is a racist issue. So, without further ado, we have a gentleman by the name of Joe Green who owns a car dealership called Budget Motors of Wisconsin. Now, I'm going to let Joe get into the details of this when we bring him on, but essentially, this dealership in Kenosha changed their company name on the internet to a very similar name to Budget Motors. And this gentleman that owns Budget Motors ended up basically wreaking the chaos and misfortune of this entire situation. So we're going to bring him on. We're going to let him talk about this. And he offered to buy the young woman, or give the young woman one of the cars off of his dealership lot because of what happened to her. And we've got some really cool updates and some announcements that we're going to do during this stream. So without further ado, everybody, let's welcome Joe Green to the stream. Here we are.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm all right. How are you?
Great. So tell us who you are, what you do. We'll kind of start there.
Yeah. My name's Joe. Me and my dad started Budget Motors of Wisconsin about 12 years ago. So we just sell used cars, repair cars.
Nice. And where's Budget located at?
We're on Douglas Avenue in Racine, or Caledonia technically, but Racine address.
Okay, very cool. So besides the address, how do people get a hold of you besides coming there? Where do they find you? Do you have a website?
Yeah, you can see us on Facebook, our website, bmofw.com.
Nice. What's the Facebook page?
It is facebook.com/bmofw.
Perfect. All right. So you guys write that down. Awesome. So you guys sell used cars?
Yeah, we got like I'd say a modest lot, maybe a medium-sized independent lot. We could possibly pack 60 cars on here. We have a few service bays inside.
Cool. And how long have you had this particular?
This particular location, we've been here about 2 years, and then we were in Kenosha for 10 years previously.
So for those of you that don't know, you're not from Kenosha. So Budget Motors had a location in Kenosha during the 2020 unrest, and Joe and I were kind of talking about that a little bit off camera. And I don't want to make this a Kenosha stream or anything, because there's far more important things to talk about tonight. But just kind of walk us through a little bit what happened in Kenosha to you guys that ended up causing you to move out to Caledonia, Racine area.
Sure. Yeah. We did take on quite a bit of damage to the building that we were in, to our inventory, to the inside of the building, just a little bit of a mess of things in general, to where we couldn't continue business at that location. At least for a while, there'd be a large build out required to fix some windows and things that were broken.
Wow. So after that, how many cars ended up getting damaged?
I think 12.
12?
Yeah. My desk had a couple bullet holes in it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Someone left the freezer open, and my hot pockets also went bad.
Did you end up doing, was it your dealership? Did you end up doing an interview with Jessica McBride from Wisconsin Right Now, showing her like camera footage?
No, I did one. I was just focused on trying to clean up and help other people that needed stuff going on. There's a lot going on, so the news was the last thing on my mind. I think I did one Chicago affiliate that she was very, very nice to me and not pushy. I had offers to go on Fox News, a couple of their shows, a bunch of other people just like got my cell phone somehow. So it was pretty weird. Family cell phone. I did get an offer to go meet Trump and shake hands, and but media was like the last thing that was on my mind. After trying to clean up the shop, I just wanted to go home and have a beer and some Taco Bell or something.
Right.
Lay down. It was my birthday, the day I went to clean up all the mess. And then I'm a big White Sox fan, and I remember Lucas Giolito on the White Sox actually pitched a no-hitter that night, but I was so tired that I fell asleep like in the last couple innings. So it was an interesting day for sure.
Jesus. So car dealership gets some serious damage to it. You guys pack up, you move the whole place over to Racine area, trying to keep it low key, business as usual. Let's sell some cars, help some people out. And here you are back in the spotlight again, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of told the chat everything that happened, and obviously social media everywhere is aware, and this video has gone viral from this NH Auto Sales dealership. And I told the chat in the beginning here that they changed their name to something similar to yours. So kind of fill us in on what happened, the behind the scenes that alerted you to all of this, and kind of walk us through step by step with everything that was going on.
Sure. So I was sitting at home Sunday, relaxing on the couch, and I got a couple alerts on my phone that we got like a 1-star review. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then another one and another one. And at that point, I don't know if we've gotten 3 1-star reviews in the 12 years we've been in business. And I had gotten 3 in like a 5-minute span. So I took the time to carefully think out responses, because I'm like, I don't think these people were here, but I need to respond to them in the proper way. Hey, reach out to us if you had a bad experience. We'd like to improve on it. So I did that, and I'm like, okay, done with that. I'm going to go on Facebook. And I actually saw the story that was happening with the driver's license, made me forget about the reviews. I started just following that. I'm like, what in the world is happening in Kenosha? And especially in my industry. So it kind of was hitting me. And then I'm reading the comments. And then I finally get to one where it says, hey, they changed their name to Budget Motor Vehicles to try to hide from us. Go get them.
Oh, wow.
And if you went and Google anything with Budget Motors, since we're more established and we've been in business for 12 years, we show up first on the rankings, not somebody that just changed their name 5 minutes ago. So we were taking some of the heat, and I was kind of in panic mode, damage control, trying to respond to them all. Hey, trying to explain the situation. It was intense for me.
Are those reviews, are they still up on the internet, or?
So our Google business page is currently suspended. Initially, it was for suspicious activity. This was when good reviews were also pouring in. I did since appeal that, and now we are still suspended because we do not meet quality standards.
So are you not, all right, let me pull this up. Are you not, so I can see the reviews. Oh, did I pull up the wrong screen? Hang on. I think I pulled up the wrong screen. This is what I was looking for.
Yeah, so this page right here, I think it showed up yesterday.
Okay.
It is not our official page. We do not have access or ownership of it. So somebody out on the internet put that up for us. So you see, we're still being hit with bad reviews on our end.
Yeah, I'm looking at stuff that's 10 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 20.
Our previous page before all this started, I believe we had 116 reviews, and we were at a 4.7 overall rating.
Wow. So this, I mean, even this, if people see this, because we're pulling this up, so even people seeing this, it's still going to associate with your company. And so as a business owner, when this stuff happens, right? So anybody can go on the internet and post whatever they want. They don't even have to be at the business and whatever. So, but as a business owner, kind of walk through our viewers how that affects you guys when, even if it's a legitimate bad review, but more importantly, when this stuff happens, how does that affect you?
Sure. Legitimate bad reviews, I probably take way too personally. I've been trying to work on that. I try really hard to run a good business and to treat people with respect and the way I'd want to be treated, and transparency about our vehicles, what's right on them, what's not right on them. We give a 30-day bumper to bumper warranty from us for everything we sell, just in case someone has a problem right away, they get taken care of. So A lot of people, they come because we were rated well. I hear that a lot. Hey, we came to buy a car here because your ratings were better than everyone else's around. Or, if you're 3 hours away and you see a car and you're like, it might be a piece of junk. And then you see, hey, this dealer is very well reviewed. It's worth the drive down there. It's probably not going to be a bad experience. So our reputation does provide a large chunk of our business. So, we're a mom and pop place. We don't spend big money on advertising. The money we've spent has been trying to take care of people, get word of mouth, get good reviews, get that reputation. So when that starts to get tarnished from things that are out of our control, I start to worry, hey, if this keeps going, this could possibly sink us.
Yeah, right. So how do you stop? So like this page that we just pulled up, how do you stop this from, is there a way to stop this from showing up?
You have very little control. You could flag stuff and Google will review it. On the official page before it got suspended, once I realized what was going on, I tried to flag them and Google came back and said, nah, there's no comments. They didn't mention a different dealership's name. So they can't decipher who they were really for. So they're going to assume they're for us. So they were leaving all those initial bad reviews on our page that was suspended.
Wow. And there's no way to fix this problem with that one that's kind of up there, since that one's not even an official page.
Yeah, I really can't even go on the back end and flag them or report them as the business owner.
Jesus. Is there a way to directly contact Google through lawyers or anything to say, hey, this dealership that's in Kenosha did this very bad thing.
Yeah.
Where they changed their name to our company. Like the police are investigating this. Here's a video. Is there a way to get your legal team in with Google's legal team to erase these things? Is that a possibility? Or
yeah, well, I'm a simple man. I don't have a legal team. I have the ability to Google things and try to find somebody. So I think the next step, if this doesn't get resolved shortly, is to reach out to some firms that specialize in Google business listings and that kind of thing. I did see some today and they're like, $99, we'll get your listing back. And then I don't know. I don't really have expertise in that, but as soon as things settle down and I get some time, I'm definitely going to make some calls and try to figure it out. My help, Lou, was actually on vacation all week this week. So it's already been a struggle for me to handle the normal business day-to-day stuff, shorthanded. And then we got some extracurricular involved this week.
Extracurricular. That's crazy. So what was the staff like? So you're seeing this, you're at home, you're seeing this, and you're like, whoa, something's wrong. And then when you start notifying, everybody else, when the rest of the team is made aware of this, what's everyone else kind of thinking and going through?
Well, I let we only have 5 guys here, so I let a couple of them just blissfully unaware enjoy their weekend without knowing what was going on. I figured it's kind of my problem at the moment. I didn't want to make it their problem and make them worried about their job or their employment and stuff like that. So we've been trying to do business as usual through all this. So they've just been busy working, chat about it once in a while. Hey, it's crazy. But obviously they're not as invested as I am in, long-term success here. Right.
Have you guys had anyone show up to protest or?
No one has physically showed up. I've had a lot of phone calls, some threatening ones, some polite threatening ones, not so polite threatening ones, some just real weird people coming out of the woodwork saying some bizarre things that I can't tell you what their intentions were.
Can you share some of it with us? You can say naughty words on here. I know you want to be professional, but can you share some of what you were? I want our viewers to understand the ramifications of when people do ignorant stuff. right? When it's disrespectful. And
yeah, there's a lot of like, you guys are going to get what's fucking coming to you. You know, you can't treat people like that, and justice will be served. And, you know, I actually returned everyone's call who left me a message like that and politely tried to explain the situation. And some calls were live and a lot of pee jokes and saying, you guys are the place that pisses on licenses, right? And no, hey, let me try to explain it to you. And one guy explained it to it. No apologies after that either. Once they realized they got the wrong place, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go find the right place. So, and some people were apologetic and said, you know what, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to explain it to me, and I'm going to, you know, get on Twitter where I saw that and try to clear the air a little bit. So it's just been a mixed bag of people, reasonable people, unreasonable people, strange people. And also some very, very nice people have reached out, praising us, offering support, that kind
so
of
thing. What were some of those comments like from people that were, well, let's do this before we get into the praising. We got to establish the foundation of why the praises were coming. So you're dealing with the backlash of somebody else's ignorant behavior, and you then offer something. So kind of walk us through that.
Yeah. So I was worried for my business. I was embarrassed for Kenosha. I was embarrassed for the industry as a whole. Used car industry does not have the best reputation to start. And then what happened to this poor young lady that I had so many connections to. And I thought, how can I make this better for everyone involved? And what I came up with is, this girl needs a car. I'm going to give her a car. She was shopping, it looked like, for kind of a not nice car at that place, and they treated her not well. So I truly hope that this is going to turn for her into kind of a positive moment in her life, even though there were some negative things involved.
Wow. So you put a post up, right, on your page, and you're trying to look for anyone that knows her. And
yeah, I could see her page, but as a business, we weren't able to like reach out to her or message her directly. Right. So we needed her to do the messaging to us. And yeah, within a day, she did reach out to us. Obviously she was overwhelmed with what was going on. I was a little bit overwhelmed too. So we kind of made a plan where, hey, she said she'll reach back out to me as soon as things die down a little bit, and she felt comfortable talking about how to get her car.
Wow. All right. So you offer this plan of, hey, we're going to hook you up with a car. We're going to help you out here. So then walk us through then, because that went viral then too, is, hey, this company over here is offering to give her a free car, and the internet went crazy again. So here you are, you're in the spotlight for something negative that you didn't even have anything to do with. All you're trying to do is be out of the spotlight. You're back in the spotlight now. You're trying to do something nice. So then kind of walk us through what, like, these phone calls and other commentaries and things like that, as far as the praises and stuff.
Yeah. So I talked to the young lady briefly on the phone about, she kind of wanted to know what the offer was exactly, because obviously my initial thought when people hear me say I'm going to give her a car, they're like, what car? What kind of car? And there's some suspicion that we're going to give her some car we were about to send to the junkyard or something like that. So our prices here start at like $9,000 and go up. We did give her at least 10 cars to choose from. And we also included a 2-year aftermarket warranty that doesn't have a deductible, so that she doesn't have to drive to us if she needed repair right away. But she is taken care of mechanically on that vehicle as well for a couple of years. And she was just overjoyed to hear that. There were some tears. She has been working 2 jobs to try to make ends meet and save up for a car and go back to school, and trying to get reliable transportation has been a struggle. And it was good to hear that it was going to someone who really deserved it and needed a car.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's really awesome of you to offer that. Now we got some news, and I shared it with you earlier today. We got news, some breaking news that the two individuals that made the video from this NH Auto Sales dealership in Kenosha. So Kenosha Police Department started investigating this, and they have referred misdemeanor charges over to the Kenosha County District Attorney's Office for criminal damage to property, disorderly conduct, theft, unlawful use of computerized communication systems. And they served a search warrant on NH Auto Sales, and they were able to recover the driver's license. So right now, KPD is not releasing the two individuals' names until the DA's office actually formally charges them. So when I sent this to you, and let's just pretend that you heard it from me first, but when you heard this news that they were being charged, what was kind of your reaction to that?
Good. There's been some beating around the bush involving charges and that kind of thing. And I think a lot of people were upset that they felt that the police weren't doing anything about it. When you see the police there protecting the business right away, but not sort of pursuing the crime or the reason for the protection, leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So it's good that there are charges filed, and hopefully, they get some justice and they get in trouble for doing something so shitty.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, that you recognize that, because a lot of people on the internet did. And, obviously with what had happened in Kenosha in 2020 and what's been going on throughout the country now, it very much so seemed where Kenosha Police Department was protecting the offender, and Kenosha. So again, I'm from Kenosha. So Kenosha doesn't necessarily have the best history when it comes to kind of race relations within the city. It's a pretty city to visit, and especially in the summertime, and the boat rides and the trolley and the lake and everything. And there's definitely stuff to do in Kenosha, and it's a fun little city. But kind of behind those closed doors, it's not always the best of intentions. And the police department has definitely had some heat on them for a number of years. So yeah, I'm glad that you saw that as well, that it really gave the perception, whether they meant to do that or not, of protecting the offender and not the victim of a crime. That was another thing that went viral on the internet, and really gave people a bad taste in their mouths. Have you had to have any contact with law enforcement, whether Kenosha PD or Racine, because of everything that's happening?
I have not had any contact. Just the Caledonia Police Department on Monday morning, because we found out someone's yanked a car off of our lot in the middle of the night on I think Friday night, but we didn't realize it was gone until Monday. So we had all the camera crew coming in, and then the police coming in. So it was eventful Monday. And I think my fiance texted me at the same time and asked me why I didn't unload the dishwasher before I left.
I think I had somebody send me. You guys posted that, right?
The stolen vehicle.
Yeah, did you put a post on
the Caledonia Police Department did? So we shared it on our page.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, somebody sent me that, and I was like, Jesus, dude, this dealership is really going through it. Yeah, we've had a number of comments. So like on the video that we uploaded of this entire thing, we've gotten a couple thousand views on that. We've got like 7,000 views on TikTok of it. And there's just dozens and dozens of comments coming through with people being we've had to remove a few comments. Some people have been nasty. Some people don't see that it's a race issue, especially followed by the Trump kind of imagery at the end. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, not every Trump supporter is, racist, but that's been the stigma, obviously, in the last couple of years. I actually got something sent to me on Instagram that I found to be interesting. Somebody had seen our video that we posted about the situation, and they were having a text communication with somebody else. And this person that they're talking to is laughing about the situation. And they say, well, that NH stands for N-word hater. And that's why they named it NH. And I was like, I'm trying to get back a hold of her to find out like who she's talking to. And is that legitimate?
I think I saw similar screenshots with the person laughing, but it had different captions. So I don't know in that case what it looked like. They were like almost in a hotel room or something, and someone laughing. But yeah, I saw different captions on that. So
wow. Do you know this business that's out there since you're from Kenosha?
I didn't know they existed. I know the building that they're in. They weren't horribly far from where we were. I lived not too far from there before, so I'm aware of and then people have been telling me, hey, these guys used to be over here. I guess they were kind of kitty corner from us for a little bit, not too far from our old shop. So I never met them. I never heard of them, but I guess I've been made aware of them, of course, but they've been around.
Wow. All right. We got a question from a chat member before we get to some other stuff. So Nan's Life is asking, is the auto business government regulated, and would they suspend their business license?
Yeah, it's regulated by the DOT. You do need a dealer license to operate, to sell motor vehicles. I did get a call from our DOT rep, an investigator, about this. We talk from time to time. He lets us know updates, what's going on. He actually called us to make sure we knew that this was going on. He was worried about us possibly facing some danger. So he said, you should maybe get in contact with Caledonia PD and let them know what's going on. He was kind of worried for us about the confusion causing people showing up to us. He did say he was trying to get a hold of the owners of that business, and they seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth, changed phone numbers or something like that. So interesting.
Yeah, we got, so I tried emailing through the contact submission form on their website to see if they had comment. And then I tried emailing Brian Slavin directly. We've gotten no comment from that. But yeah, and then phone numbers, social media is gone. His social media is down. The business social media is down. Like everything is down, and like they're kind of MIA right now.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of interesting if they just showed up and tried to do business as usual. Someone did tell me a couple days ago, they went over there and the door was open and a couple mechanics were working there.
Oh, wow.
And they said, we want to speak to the owner, and they said, yeah, they're not here.
Jesus, that's insane.
Yeah.
All right, so you have some news about what happened right actually before you jumped on with us.
Yeah,
you were in the middle of something. So chat, we've got some good news for you. So we're gonna let Joe drop the mic right now and kind of tell you guys what happened right before he came on.
Yeah. Right before I hopped on, I was just finishing up a business transaction where I gave away a vehicle to a certain someone, and it was great. I mean, it's awesome not to have to negotiate back and forth with someone and have that haggle. And So it was one of the easiest transactions I've ever had. Her ride here actually had a headlight bulb out. We changed the headlight bulb for her ride as well, so they weren't driving back to where they were going in the dark with one headlight. And she's such a sweet young lady, and it was really nice to see that it was going to a person like her. I feel like she's very deserving, and it's going to make a difference in her life to have some reliable transportation for a while. And as a used car salesman, I never dreamed that I could make a difference in lives by being a used car salesman, but maybe I did it a little bit, and it feels good. Feels great.
That's awesome. Are you able to tell us what type of car she picked out? So you had said a little bit earlier you gave her the option of different vehicles. And
so for privacy and security reasons, she asked if we would keep the cameras away from it, keep the media out of it. You know, there were local news wanted to film it, and when you go viral, there are a lot of interesting people that come out of the woodworks for different reasons. So I definitely agreed with her that it's best the world doesn't know what your car looks like, necessarily what you look like at the moment, to safer for her. And I had no problem obliging to that request. It just made a lot of sense not to try to force. Plus, I'm kind of, I'd be weird being filmed trying to do my paperwork. It might make me too nervous.
Right. Yep. No, we totally understand. We get that a lot here. Being from Kenosha and filming everything that happened and the types of investigations that I go through. I've actually had to move 12 times since the Kenosha incidents because of death threats and stalkers that show up at addresses that I live at. And nope, I get it.
Just from your media coverage of?
Yeah, just from the coverage, just from investigating different things and exposing stuff that people don't want exposed, police departments. We've had militia groups that we've exposed some of their behaviors and things that they were doing. So yeah, it's been interesting. They've shown up at jobs of mine. I've had to leave jobs over it. They've called. I used to work at Durango's. Good. Joe over there. So Joe was getting hundreds of phone calls and text messages while I was still working there to fire me and all these things. And then we exposed that the second garbage truck that was started on fire was a Wisconsin National Guard member. And the individual that did that, we haven't released his name because the ATF hasn't arrested him, but there's a connection between him and Durango's, and he showed up there to kick my ass because we released the story and he knew we were talking about him. So I understand privacy things. But you gave her a kick-ass car, right?
Yeah, I think it's got less miles on it than my car, a couple of years newer than what I drive.
Nice. Did she take it out for a test drive?
She did. She took it was a long test drive. She took like a 30 or 45-minute test drive. I was starting to be like, text her to be like, did it break down?
Did it break down?
Because we were, it was a little bit past closing. It was absolutely one deal I was ready to stay late for and not be cranky about. I was excited and happy to do it. I would have stayed all night if she wanted to drive every car.
Nice. Did you take her driver's license and hold it while she went for the test drive?
It is a paper copy, but we do not hold driver's license. There are no reason to hold the driver's license. They invented something called a copy machine, and you could just make a photocopy and hand their driver's license right back to them in case they get pulled over or something like that on test drive. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe you got a tail light out on your car that you let them drive. So yeah, you need a driver's license to drive a car. So you shouldn't hold anyone's driver's license.
Wow. What did you think? So when you saw that video and they're at the dealership, you're watching them destroy her license, and then obviously they urinate on it. Obviously you're disturbed by what you're watching, but from a business standpoint, like at any time were you sitting here going like, why? I don't even understand. Why do you even have her driver's license? Like, are there business things like that going through your mind while you're watching?
Yeah. You know, I remember like the 2 times I accidentally left someone's driver's license in my copy machine. So that I had flashbacks of of that. But I was, for me, I was like, why do they have it anyway? Why is it there? You know, it should just be copied in front of the customer and handed right back to them immediately. And then I was like, ooh, that is not good for their business.
Jesus, that's crazy. So what's next for you then? So where do you go from here?
Well, I would like for my coworker to get back from vacation so he could handle some customers, because we have been busy. It's tax return season, so we've been busier than usual just in regular business stuff. So I think once I get some free time and the messages and the calls start dying down a little bit, then I can just lock myself in a room, try to get our Google listing page back. I think that's my next quest.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So one of our viewers, Scout, so she lives up in New York. She says, I wish there were more honest used car guys in New York like you. Taking my kids looking for cars was a nightmare. People don't care if they sell a death trap to a kid that's been saving their whole life.
Thanks. Yeah, I would recommend to you, try to take anything you're interested in buying to a mechanic shop for an inspection, or to, if it's a Chevy, take it to a Chevy dealer. You pay them to do a once over on it, get a list of what needs to be remedied so you know exactly what you're getting into. And if the dealership will not let you do that, then that is a sign you should not buy a car from them.
Wow. Interesting. So I'm glad you brought this stuff up. This was kind of my segue into this next kind of line of questions. So when people are coming to used car dealers, what are some things that they should be looking for that are, let's start here. What are some things that they should be looking for that are red flags? And you just said one of them. What other things are red flags where people need to run besides urinating on driver's licenses?
If you could tell that they didn't really do anything to the car before putting it up for sale, like if it's got auction stickers on it, paint marker from the auction where they write like the run number on it or something like that, clearly that car just came from the auction. If they didn't take the care to like take the stickers off or take a razor blade to the windshield to get that stuff off, chances are they didn't touch anything else on the car. In Wisconsin, there is a state mandated buyer's guide inspection. So you do have an implied warranty with that. If they mark that, hey, we got no oil leaks, this and that, this is good, air conditioning works, and you buy that car and you got to find out pretty quickly. It's kind of a gray area of how long you have to kind of make a complaint and a claim to get reimbursed or kill the sale or get that stuff repaired. So if you can't take it to a mechanic, at least get it looked at and try to check over everything possible immediately after you buy it, because you will have some recourse if they misrepresented the condition in any way.
So are you allowed to take it then for a test drive to a mechanic, or how does that, like if I came to you and I need a car and I say, hey, I want to take it to a mechanic and have them check it out, how does one do that?
Yeah, so I just let people, I'm not super comfortable with people taking the cars overnight or something like that. That's when they could take it to like their buddy's garage to like steal all my parts or something.
Right.
We do have insurance for that kind of stuff, fraud and this and that. But yeah, you should just say, hey, I'm gonna take it for a test drive, and can I take it to my mechanic? I don't see why a dealer should have a problem with their consumer knowing exactly what they're buying. It's better for everyone. Even if there are negatives in the vehicle, at least then you guys could negotiate, or the dealer could remedy it and before you buy it. And I think generally that helps build that trust and helps the sale go through.
Nice. What other kind of warning red flag signs should people watch out for?
Most people know noises, things they don't know. They hear weird noises. Look at your tires. But yeah, if you don't know about cars, have somebody that does look at the car for sure. Dealer's reputation too. I know a lot of the big franchise places, they do spend a lot of money on their online reputation. So it's hard to say how well you could kind of gauge trustworthiness off of a lot of stuff, but just do your homework. If you get like vehicle history reports, that kind of thing, see if there's any, maybe see the title if you're kind of uncomfortable. I think they have to show you the title. If you want to make sure there's no branding on there, salvage, rebuilt, junk, lemon, that kind of stuff.
Wow. So Daydreamer says he makes me want to drive south to get a car from him. Nana has a question. So when someone does a test drive, do you go with them sometimes?
So we choose not to. I think it just makes for a super awkward situation. We don't know each other. Like right next to you in your personal space. You're maybe with your spouse or your kid, and you're trying to talk about the car in general, how it drives, should we pay this price for it? And just to throw a salesman in the mix just makes it an awkward situation for everybody. So if you have a valid driver's license, you are covered by our insurance. Have at it. If you never come back, it's kind of like I sold it because the insurance will cover it. So, I don't really think there's a reason to go with. People do to try to, for safety or to try to sell the person. But I think in this day and age, people could look on the internet and educate themselves about what they want to buy. And they're probably more knowledgeable than the salesman on that particular vehicle that they just spent 4 hours researching and coming out to look.
Right. All right. So we're gonna kind of ask you some naughty questions here, and this is going to be beneficial for the viewers and those that are going to come bombard your business with wanting to buy cars now. Mm-hmm. So what is the best way to haggle with pricing when you go to buy a car?
It's hard to say because I'm never on the other end of it, right? Reasonable offers I always take. Like, you're not going to walk away from a deal for a few $100s usually. You can do your research, know the book values and stuff like that. They're not always an accurate reflection of the actual marketplace. If you could find like apples to compare to apples, like, hey, the guy down the street has one for $1,000 less. Yours seemed okay. What could we do to try to save me a trip down there? It absolutely never hurts to ask. Just ask. Worst thing they could do is say no. And if you feel like you really need that discount and they're not giving it to you, you could always bluff and walk away. Maybe they'll chase after you. Maybe they won't. If they don't, you could always come back. So,
right. Is it more likely? So the Goofies in the viral video made a comment about, or she had stated in her posts and everything that it's tax season, so we don't have to give a discount. Is it more like when those monies like that are coming through and whatever, are dealerships more inclined to not give a discount because they know people are getting these big checks and they're willing to spend them?
Sure. Tax season is usually the busiest season for car dealers. And because of that, people want inventory. They're selling a lot of cars. They need to replace that inventory. Time is of the essence while people have extra money laying around. So the prices go up for dealers around this time too. So at one point it becomes hey, if we discount this car too much, we can't go and get one at the auction to replace it for what we own this one for. We'd have to spend more. So at one point it doesn't make business sense to do too much negotiation. However, even if you are not negotiable, you have to be somewhat flexible. Otherwise people think you're just trying to rip them off. Like, move $100, $200, fill up their gas tank, do something just to show like you're trying to give them something extra, even though you don't want to, because nobody likes a salesman that's just like, that's the price and that's it, or get out of here. That seems rude and a little bit unreasonable.
Right. Nice. All right. What made you kind of get into? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but as opposed to like being a fireman, or as opposed to like being an accountant, or like why have you always been into cars like growing up?
I hate cars actually.
I love it. I don't even own a car, so I feel you there.
They're a bad investment. There's a lot of problems and quirks, and when there's breakdowns, it's not fun. When tires pops, it's not fun. I get enough car drama at home. I mean, at work, so I don't want to bring it home. I don't have like an extra car or a cool car. Actually, I got in the business with my father. Probably, man, I gotta do math. Almost 20 years ago. He had a little shop with a business partner in Chicago, and they didn't really know what the internet was. So, a couple older guys. So
yeah,
I came in there, and I was doing like some freelance web design at the time. So I made their website and did some Craigslist posting for them. I'd come in once a week, and that turned into, hey, could you come in like twice a week? And then, hey, could you come in like 3 days a week? And then, hey, do you mind talking to that customer? We're kind of busy. And so I was slowly bamboozled into becoming a used car salesman. And then, and then about 12 years ago, my dad's like, hey, we want to get out of Chicago. I want to open up a bigger shop. Will you come and open up a shop with me in Kenosha? And we want to have a repair facility. So if you could go and figure out how to have a repair shop, that would be great. At the time, I knew nothing about cars and car repairs. And here's my dad asking me to like hire mechanics and figure out what we need to deal with the public in terms of car repairs. So now I would consider myself very knowledgeable. It was a learning curve in the beginning, but I think I'm there. I think I'm handling it quite well, and a lot of people come to me for car advice because of the knowledge I've learned the very hard way over the years.
Yeah.
So who knows? Sometimes in the back of my mind, I thought like, hey, if I didn't go that route, would I be like a engineer or a fancy lawyer? But
I was gonna ask you, like, since doing like some freelance web stuff on the side, like was like computers in general, was that something that like were you in that direction?
Yeah, I was doing this like beginning of web design, like I was doing HTML, coding HTML by hand, doing some of that stuff, and getting into some computer repair. And of course, everyone's parents ask them to like fix their broken computers constantly.
Right.
What about you? What made you get into journalism?
So we've talked about this before. So are you aware of the podcast Cake Town Connects in Kenosha?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
All right, so I was on their podcast. So the short of it is, I've written, growing up, I wrote stories and horror stories and all of that. So I've always been a writer. And then I was going through a divorce, and my son and I were doing a bunch of outdoorsy things, and we were building this company, and we had this fishing company, and he was part of it. We had like a Walmart deal in front of us. We had other retail places in front of us. And through my divorce, I ended up basically having to shut all of that down, and he couldn't be part of it. And we had gotten into comic book world, where we were filming our adventures of father and son online. And like, we'd go hunt for Bigfoot, right? Or we'd go fishing, and he'd get bored because we're not catching something. He's like, hey, can I go find a hiking stick so we can go hike? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So one time he goes and he goes to grab this stick, but it's not a stick, it's a snake, right? And he's like, oh my God. So I'm filming, and he's like, Dad, it's a snake. And I'm like, mate, stand back, striking distance. The snake's gonna bite you. So, and he's laughing, I'm filming it. He's like doing all this stuff. And then at the end of it, we're walking home, and he says, Dad, wait, check it out. What if this snake was like 10 feet and it's like come down to get you, and I got to like use my fishing pole and like fight him, and he tries to bite you. And every time we did this, I was like, man, this kid's got this crazy imagination. So I'm like, what if we turn him into a superhero and like we get into the comic book world, right? So you have to watch the YouTube video where he learns something in the video, but then he's applying it in this superhero, role that you have to then go read the comic book. And it's educational for kids, it's entertaining. But we had to shut all this down. So then with the fishing company going through it alone, I started writing about companies that were defrauding the consumer. So like companies that claimed a fishing hook was made in America and buy this hook and you support the troops. And then only to find out that the hook actually came from China and they're just putting a flag on it. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then we kind of got some bad press on that because we were also in the, I had this fishing company, but I was doing some journalism stuff on the side. So they're like, hey, this is a conflict of interest. And then I'm like, shit, dude, I got to shut this down again. I don't know what to do with this. And then Kenosha happens. And I'm like, well, I got a media company, so I'm legit. I can go out here and film. And then it just went from, I had a million questions because like Rittenhouse night, he's not the only one shooting that night. There's shots fired everywhere. And, situations like that where it's like, well, what was happening here? What was happening here? And then, I get the scanner and I'm like, oh, wow. So, okay, cool. Let's investigate this. And then, from filming hundreds of protests and whatnot, and kind of looking into things and just kind of shutting my mouth and listening and then having a million questions. So a lot of what I was doing back then was I was kind of on my own personal journey, but because I also had these questions, I figured, well, man, there's got to be a lot of other people that have these questions or, are confused or they want answers. They want to be educated. So why don't we all just go on this journey together? And then I kind of opened my life up and it's been chaos ever since. So I love doing this, but it's a lot of drama at times. Yeah. It's like you said, opening yourself up to the world over the internet. You get a lot of strange people that come out of the woodworks. But then we also do have like a lot of really awesome people that are here, and we've been able to change minds. I'm pretty raw. I'm pretty abrasive. When we do these interviews like this, I'm a lot more calm and like, let's be professional. But when I'm talking about real life stuff where if you're on the streets, it's hitting you in the face, I'm very raw and I'm abrasive, I'm rude sometimes. But when I write my articles, it's very professional and, to the point. We've exposed a lot of big things, especially with Kenosha. So I love doing this, but there's days I'm a long distance hiker. There's definitely days where I'd rather be on a mountain than be doing journalism.
Sure.
So, but yeah.
Thanks for sharing the background there. It's a nice story.
Yeah, for sure. I had one more question I wanted to ask you, and now I forgot because you asked me about me. Damn it. It was a good question too. Daydreamer says, this is the only time you didn't hear the F-bomb. Yeah, I usually say the F word a lot on my stream.
Let's hear it. Just put it out there.
I should put it out there.
We want to say it together.
You want to on the count of three?
Yeah.
All right. 1,
2, 3. Fuck.
I love it, dude. I love it, dude. Joe, this is epic. This is epic. Man, I did have a legitimate question for you. It was on the whole thing of, so like going from doing the web design stuff to doing the car dealership stuff. There was a follow-up question to that, and I fucking don't remember now. Oh, I don't know. Chat, do you guys have any questions? What questions do you guys have? Look at everyone's laughing now. Joe got me to say the F word. We did a stream. There's a very dangerous individual that just moved to Kenosha intentionally, knowing that I cover Kenosha. And we did a stream, and I was very angry, and I said the F word a lot. And my buddy is an hour and a half through like a 6-hour stream, and I've said it 683 times in an hour and a half. And I was like, oof, I think we need to tone it down a little bit. But yeah, I don't remember my question, but chat, do you guys have any of the viewers have any last questions, or Joe, do you have any other for us?
Something I forgot to mention, that we got an interesting anonymous phone call at the shop the other day, and they said they were actually related to one of the individuals at the other dealership, and that's why they called anonymously. They said they were ashamed to know them, and that he has been a bully his entire life and has always treated people poorly. And they asked if they could send a gas card over here for us to pass along to the person that was getting the car. So someone that is very close to this person that did a bad thing was very ashamed of it and that person's behavior, and also wanted to do something nice.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I'm wondering, because there, you had the person that sent the young woman the video, and they seemed like they're close, or there's some connection that they saw it. You know what I mean? So they had to have been following, Brian's
Snapchat, and someone in the room recorded the Snapchat who of the person who was following him. So a friend of a friend or something. Who knows how big his Snapchat reach is?
Right. So it's like there's people that are close to this guy that are disgusted.
Yeah, and from what I hear through the grapevine about people that have been in contact with him, colleagues, people that work near him, that they knew he was not a good dude from the get-go.
Jesus, that's scary. That's super scary. It's interesting that people close to him are like, it's almost like yes, now we have an opportunity to call him out. Now we can like we're sick of it, and this is a great opportunity to like get back at this guy for all these years.
Hopefully it's some kind of rock bottom for him, and behaviors change, but who knows?
Yeah. That's what you hope. You hope the behavior changes. I mean, there's a lot of us, including myself, not always, the best behaviors, not always a good person. And you just got to hope that the behaviors do change, and you can move in a more forward, positive direction. But you keep continuing the same actions and behaviors, that's what you end up in situations like this, where they could potentially, their business is permanently destroyed at this point. Family members, friends walking away from them, not being welcome in the city of Kenosha. I mean, Kenosha can, like, when you were in Kenosha, like, did you have to go through the Common Council meetings as well to get a business license to be in the city of Kenosha?
No, I honestly think the like occupancy or something for Kenosha was like, I don't even know if there was an inspection. The state of Wisconsin for our dealer's license, yeah, that's a whole thing where they look at your signage. But I think Kenosha wasn't too difficult to deal with. I do think there's a third business that might have been affected by this. I believe that other dealership is actually like maybe renting from somebody that owns the building, and I heard people were tracking that guy down, even though he's just, landlord.
Jesus Christ.
He used to have a car lot there before, he decided to kind of take life easy and move, let someone else rent it.
Yeah. See, that's the danger about, it's nice to the effect of, you want to excite change, right? But when information gets put out there, and that's one of the biggest things that I argue about on this platform is rhetoric that goes out, misinformation and disinformation. And when something happens that causes people to react, right? One of the big reasons I wanted to bring you on was also to show people the ramifications of an accusatory tone towards the wrong individual, where we're now affecting other people because of our own actions and behaviors, jumping to conclusions. And I mean, this is days and days later, you're still dealing with ramifications of this. And, who knows, a year from now, somebody could see this video and posts that weren't taken down. And a year from now, you may get a phone call.
I'm sure I will get a phone call, email, or review. It'd be nice if people, after bad reviews that I take the time to respond to, even just check their email and read it and be like, oh, I got a response and I got the wrong guy and I should delete it. There were a couple of people that I saw were deleting their reviews when I was doing that, but not everybody.
Right. But then even getting hit with, so once everyone realizes the mistake, like, oh shit, and then people are like, you know what, this guy's cool, like he's gonna give her a car, like we gotta praise him, like this is good white people, this is good people stuff. And you get hit with all these floods of praises, and even YouTube is flagging that stuff. So it's like, what kind of advice would you give in regards to, because there's a million situations like this where something happens, there's the negative reaction, people calm down, somebody steps up, and then there's all the good, and it's like, hey, let's promote this person, let's do this. What advice do you have for the hold off on the negative and chill out on some of the praises or alternatives to the praises, so like another business owner doesn't lose their Google over online praises?
Yeah, I mean, I know sometimes people get angry and are caught up in a moment and they want to react as soon as possible, which is okay. You can do that, but don't just set it and forget it. Follow up. If you were angry enough about something that you left a bad review and you really didn't take time to kind of investigate things for more than just like a second, you just had a reaction. Don't just set that reaction and just forget about it, because your words and actions do have effect on other people, good and bad. So at least take some time to reflect on what you did or said in the moment, and maybe backtrack and see if it was indeed justified, or maybe it wasn't enough and you need to go further. So just you could be emotional in the moment, but try to think it through after the fact.
Yeah. Can you think of any other ways that people could praise without going online, so that it's not suspending accounts even for good stuff that, coming in by the hundreds?
Yeah, I know. I think there would be a lot more for us if we weren't if people didn't need to show support by spending $15,000. I thought if we were like an ice cream shop, we'd probably sell like twice as many ice cream cones. So I completely understand that. We do service here too. So if anyone needs like an oil change or something like that in the future, brakes, we could do that too. So you don't need to spend $15,000 to patronize my business. You could spend like $50. We got a good deal on wiper blades.
Nice. Hell yeah. All right. So you're in the Racine area. So those of you that are near, so Racine's in southeast Wisconsin, for those of you that don't know. So you've got Kenosha, Racine, and then you kind of come up by me into Milwaukee. So we're all southeast Wisconsin. It's pretty close. All right. Anybody, Joe, do you have any other questions for me? Anything you want to know or anything you want to say?
I don't think so. Just bad stuff happens, and hopefully we made it a little bit better. And I think there's been a lot more positive reactions and nice people reaching out than angry people. So that gives me hope for people in general. Love wins out. Good wins out. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Scout says, I hope your business doubles with the good deed you did today, and someday that girl can pay it forward.
I appreciate that. That sounds like a whole lot of work to double my I mean, maybe like 30%, and I still get my regular days off. That'd be cool.
There you go. That's awesome. All right, cool. So one thing we like to do on the stream at the very end, so we like to elevate voices, and we like to give our guest the last word. So what we do, you can say whatever you want. You can tell a joke, you can sing a song, you can promote your business, you can just say the word fuck. Whatever it is that you want to do. I drop myself out of the stream, so it's literally just you. And then once you say goodbye to everybody, after you say your last word, I just immediately end the broadcast so that it's ended on you. So if you're ready for the last word, I'll drop myself out. And Joe, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you being here and talking to us and kind of telling us everything that your experience through a situation that you should have just viewed online and it should have been the end of the day. But thank you for sharing that experience and then providing a vehicle for this young woman and showing that, you know, love kind of conquers evil when we all step up to do the right thing. So that was seriously awesome. So I appreciate you being here and sharing that.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get you going. All right, Joe, I'm going to drop myself out and thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. If anyone is actually still watching, I don't know how many people were watching this. I've never done anything like this before. I want to thank you for just taking the time to listen to what I have to say, and hope everyone saw that when things go viral and people take action on the internet, it does affect people's lives. So, you know, at least follow up with what you did to see what's going on, and if you need to go harder or go softer on what you were trying to react to. It does make change sometimes for the good and for the bad, but the good usually wins out, and I'm hopeful that everything will be okay with the business here, and in the long run that things will be better than they ever were before. So thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.